I'm Dr. Mohammad Rafi, Associate Professor, Department of Cybersecurity at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today I want to discuss about network programming and management subject, in which the topic is generic and IP socket options. Here, generic and IP socket options. Generic socket options are configurations and setting that can be applied to a sockets regardless of the protocol family, that is TCP and UDP, etc. These options are we can typically use to controlling the behavior of the socket at a more the fundamental levels. Common the generic socket options are reuse address, reuse address. Here is this allows multiple sockets to binding the same the port number. By using reuse address, now we can bind the same port number and which allowing the multiple other sockets. These socket reuse that means a socket reuse address, it can be useful for applications that need to restart quickly and bind the same port number. Here socket keep alive option. Here is now socket generic socket option is one of the socket keep alive is one of the socket generic option. By using socket keep alive, now we are enabling the periodic transmissions of message on a connected the socket at client side or at server side, which ensuring that the connection is still alive. By using these socket keep alive, now we can detect the dead beats. Here next socket receive buffer, socket send buffer. So by using these options, we can specify the size of the receive and send the buffers for the sockets. Here it can be utilized tuning. This can be improve the performance for specific applications. So linger, socket linger means now these socket the linger which control the actions that will be taken when unsent data is queued on a socket, that means client side or server side, and the close operations is performed. Here by using this the linger option, socket linger option, that can be used, it can be used to ensure that all data is sent before closing the socket. Here socket broadcast, socket broadcasts, by using this option, now we can transmission of the broadcast messages, which allow this option allowing the transmission of broadcast messages. Here socket broadcaster, which usage is which required for sending the UDP the packets, user datagram the packets to a broadcast addressing, and IP socket options. IP internet the protocol, these are the socket options generally we can specified that can be used These are all the specific to sockets. By using these IP socket the option, now the internet the protocols such as TCP and UDP, these options the control IP level behavior. Here is TCP and UDP protocols now, which is controlling the IP level behavior. Common IP socket the options. Common this up to here now it is a generic generic socket options and common IP socket the options. Common IP socket options are here sets IP TTL time to live. That means setting the time to live value for outgoing IP the packets. By using IP TTL here, which controls by using this option at server side or at the client side, now we are controlling how many hubs a packets can be make before beginning the discarded. Generally, by using this IP TTL, so which is the controlling the packet lifetime. Here the packets how many other days it will be the transferable. So how many other days it can be useful. That means controlling the packet the lifetime can be controlled by using the IP TTL. That means internet the protocol time to live. So by using this one now we are controlling the lifetime of the packet. Next to packet multicast TTL. Here this packet multicast TTL which sets the TTL value for outgoing multicast packets. This packet and the multicasting which is similar to the internet the protocol TTL but the specific to the multicast trophy. IP multicast loop. IP multicast loops generally which is controls whether multicast packets sent by the host or looped back to the host. Here these IP multicast loops are useful for the applications that need to receive their own multicast transmissions. IP address membership and IP drop membership option. So this IP address membership option, IP drop membership option, which adds or drops the membership in a multicast grouping. The use of these options is which is necessary for joining or leaving multicast groups for receiving the multicast packets. IP packet information. IP packet information which enables the receiving of packet information, that is destination address, interface address and source address. That means it can be useful for the applications that need detailed the information about the received the packets. Here setting socket options. Setting socket options these can be sent by using the socket function and retrieved using the get socket functions. The general syntax for these are the functions in a C language: int set sock option, int socket, int level, int option name, construct void pointer type, the option value, socket socket option, int get socket point, int socket, int level, int option name, void the pointer type. The option is a socket option is a pointer type, that is a option value, socket length is a the pointing type. Here is socket. Socket means here the socket descriptor. The socket the descriptor. Level in these the arguments. These are all the arguments in the sockets, general syntax of the function. In a general syntax of the function, the arguments are socket, level, name, and value, and so option length. Here is in details. Socket means that is a which describes the socket descriptors. Types of the how many types of the socket are the descriptors, the file descriptors are utilizing. And level now, which is describes the level at which the socket option is the defined. That means here SOL socket for the generic option, and IP proto IP for the IP option. So this is a level that can be option can be defined at SOL underscore socket level. That is a generic option, comes under the generic option, or it is defined at IP proto underscore the IP level. Here is the option name. The option name which describes the name of the socket option to set or get. That means a set socket or get socket, which is describing the name of the socket. Option value. Option value now it is a pointer to the socket option value. Option length. Option length now which indicates the size of the socket option value. Depends upon the size of the socket the option. Number of file descriptors can be transmitted from client to server. And understanding and utilizing these are the socket option is a crucial for find the tuning. Here is the behavior of the network or the application. Generic the socket option which allows for the understanding of the configurations, fundamental configurations, and applicable across the different the protocols in a different over the networks. And while IP socket options now which is the providing more specific control for the IP based communication, any internet protocol based any communication. That means the best the example is a internet mail transfer from the one user to the another user. That is a IP based the communication. Internet the protocol based the communication, sending mail from one host to the another host. By using these other options, the developers can optimize the performance of the host and managing the resources effectively and implement advanced networking features. Here, the primary objective of the generic socket options are to providing the mechanism to control and optimizing the behavior of the sockets at the fundamental levels. Here is regardless of these the protocols, whatever the protocols being used, these options, socket options, whatever the socket options now we are utilizing, which helps in enhancing the application the performance and ensuring the reliable the communication and managing the resources efficiently. Here, the some of the specific other objectives are resource management. Resource management here generally which is managing the allocation into the buffer and usage of the system resources like buffer size and socket the descriptor, socket file descriptors, and network the interfaces. Now it is a objective of the resource management. For example, here adjusting buffer size using the socket receive buffer and socket send the buffer the options. So this is a example of the resource management. Next to connection reliability. Connection reliability is the objective of this one is to ensure that the connection remains active and to detect the dead the dead pairs. That means here, for example, enabling keep alive the message with SO keep alive. Here the port and address reusability. Port and address reusability means which allow the multiple other applications, so which are running on a clients or multiple other instances that can be bind to the same other port or address. That means now which is the facilitating the quick restart and fail over the mechanism. So these are port and address reusability. Using socket reuse address, now we are enabling the address reuse. Now we can able to reusing the address and allow by reusing this address. Now we are allowing the multiple other clients or multiple instances that can be bind to the same other port or same address. This is about the port and address reusability. Here, control over the data transmission. Control over the data transmission, the objective is now it can manage how to data is the transmitted from client to other server, and how that data, whatever the data is the transmitted from client to other server, that can be handled when the socket is a closed. The example here, using the socket linker. Here is the socket linker to control the behavior of the socket close operations. Whatever the operations are closed, that can be controlling the by using this control over the data transmission, and which enabling specific other communication modes. Here, these the objective is to enable the specific modes of communications, such as a broadcasting, multicasting, unicasting. Different modes of other communication can be controlled, and which enabling the modes of other communication and specific other communication modes. By enabling that, now the communication can be established between the two other devices using socket broadcast to allow sending of the broadcast the messages. So this is a example for enabling specific communication mode. And the objective of the IP internet the protocol socket the options are, here is the IP socket options are designed to provide the more the granular control over the internet the protocol level behavior, now which allowing for the customization and optimization of the internet protocol communications. The objectives which including the managing internet protocol packets properties, and which is controlling the multicast group membership and optimizing the routine behavior. Here is the specific the objectives. TTL management, that is time to live management. That means here this is the TTL management now, which is control the life span of the packet to avoiding the routing loops and managing the network traffic by using the TTL management. For example, here setting the IP TTL to control the number of hubs a packet can take. So this is an example for the TTL management. Multicast communication. The multicast communication which manage the multicast group members and behavior of the multicast the packets. By using the IP address the membership and IP drop membership to join and leave the multicast groupings. This is an example for the multicast communication. And loop back control. Loop back control which control whether multicasting packets are looped back to the sending host. Example, setting IP multicast loop to manage the multicast packet loopbacks. Here is detailed packet the information. These detailed packet information which provide the applications with detailed information about receiving the packets from the sender for more information of the processing. For example, internet the protocol packet the information that is best it is used in a mailing transformation in browser over the browser. The mailing the transformation is the best example for the detail the packet the information, that is IP packet information to receive the information such as the destination address and interface indexes. Here next routing and interface selection. Routing and interface the selection is the objective is to influence the routing decisions. That means if you send the packets from one source device to the server device, now multiple other routings are possible. From among the multiple other routings, now best routing can be the selected, best path can be the selected. That means the shortest path can be selected and transfers the packet over the shortest path. Here the efficiency can be improved and interface the selection for outgoing the packets. For example, adjusting routing with the specific the options like source address selections. The objective of both generic socket options and IP socket options are which provide the flexibility and enhance the performance, ensures the readability and enabling the advanced networking the features. So this is the objectives of generic socket option and IP socket the options. Generally, these generic socket options and IP socket options are used to configure and manage the behavior of the network sockets, which are endpoints for the communication between two other devices over the network. So these options are the critical for various real-time other applications where the performance, reliability, and specific network behaviors are essential. Here is some real-time applications for this one are generic socket option. Now, if we take the real-time applications of generic socket options, the first the application is a multimedia streaming. Socket receive buffer and socket send buffer. So these socket receive buffer and socket send buffer now, which is adjusting the receive and send the buffer sizes that can help in optimizing the performance of the audio and video streaming application, which can handle varying the network the condition based on the network the condition which will be handled and reduce the latency. So this is a multimedia streaming. It's one of the application of the generic socket option. Now next the application if you see online gaming. Now here in this multimedia streaming, here is socket RCV receive low watermark and socket send low watermark, that means which is setting the low watermark. Here is this low watermark can help in a managing data flow. If you set the low watermark, that means data flow can be controlled from client to server and ensuring that the timely deliver the multimedia or the content by this low watermark. Send low watermark, send controlling the data flow and delivering the multimedia or the content effectively to server. So this is a use of this low send low watermark socket send low watermark socket receive low watermark, and it is applicable. These generic and IP socket options can be applied in a online gaming also. In online gaming here, socket receive time out and socket send timeout. Here is socket receive timeout and socket send timeout. Now which is settings the timeout for sending and receiving operations can prevent the delays and ensuring timely which updates which are the critical for the maintaining a response and gaming the experience. So reuse address now which is allowing the multiple other sockets to bind to the same address can facilitate the seamless the transitions and quick reconnections in gaming servers. And next to voice over IP, VoIP, voice over IP. Here is the priority. Socket priority will be the consider and socket linear can be the consider. Here is in low voice over the internet the protocol. We consider the socket as a priority. Now we have to setting the socket priority by setting the socket priority that can ensure voice packets are given higher the precedency over the other type of the traffic and reducing the latency and improving the call the quality. Linear socket linears, which is managing the linear options that can help in a graceful closing the connections, which ensuring here is which ensuring that the important voice data is not lost. Next, the financial the trading the system. So socket timestamp now which is enabling the timestamping on a packets. So that timestamping on a packet that can be crucial for the tracking on the precise the timing of the market data and trading data. So which is essential for the high the frequency trading the systems. That is a so time the stamp. That is a financial trading system and real time applications of the IP socket options. So these are all the real time applications of the generic socket options and the next real time applications of the internet protocol socket option where it is used. Generally, internet as a protocol socket can be used in a network diagnostic and management. How it is utilized means here IPTTL by using the IPTTL setting the time to live value so which help in the network diagnostic. So like trace the routing which diagnose the path the packets now which will take through the networks. IP HDRINCL which allowing to indicate their own IP header. IP header so that can be useful custom networking management tools that requires fine control over the packet constructions. This is about the IP HDR, IP header, IP header that can be included in a network management. Next, multicast applications. The next application is a multicasting. IP multicast TTL time to live. So these IP multicast TTL now which is setting the TTL for multicast the packets that can be controlling the scope of the multicast distribution. So these multicast the distribution which is the useful for the applications like live video broadcast or real-time data feeds to the multiple clients. IP multicast loop. IP multicast loop which is enabling or disabling the loop back for multicast packets now that can help in testing and debugging multicast applications. Here it can perform the testing and debugging multicast application by controlling whether the host receives its own the transmission or not. Here is if it is not receiving its own, by controlling here. Now we'll make it as a receiving the IP and the packets. There is a IP multicast looping. Here the real-time data distribution. Real-time data distribution, it is a type of the service, IP, TOS, Internet the protocol type of service. So these are the service now which is setting the TOS type of the service field that can be prioritized the traffic for the real-time data distribution services, which ensuring the data critical data packets are treated with the highest priority in the network. IP packet information. By using the IP packet information, now using the packet information can help the applications make decisions based on the destination address and interfaces, which is the very important for load the balancing and managing the traffic in a complex networking environment. So that is about the IP packet information. Custom protocol, the implementation. Here IP the options, Internet the protocol options, socket options. Setting IP options, by setting the IP options over the networking, that can be useful for implementing the custom protocols and the user protocols that requires the specific routing. The selected routing, best routing can be the selected to transmitting the data from source to the destination and handling the packets. Whatever the packets you are transmitting, that can be handled and which can be critical for specialized real-time applications. Here is by configuring the generic socket options, and IP socket option is essential for optimization. So it the performance and readability, that means performance of and reliability of real-time applications across various domains, from multimedia streaming and online gaming to VOL and financial trading system. These the options now which is providing the flexibility need to tailor the socket the behavior to the specific requirement of the each applications. Text for this topic now, the textbooks are Unix network programming and network management principles and the practices. These are all the internet networking with the TCP/IP and a reference book and William Stalling. So these are all the reference book and remaining all are the web references. That is notes dot scsshichao.io and books google.co.in and DOES oracle.com, isn't it? So these are all the web the references.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.